Is that how we start that? All rise. Mr. Williams, will you come lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Before we do that, I call this meeting to order. We all stand, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It'd be my honor if you join me in prayer. Supreme Architect of the universe, we invoke thy blessing at this time. May this meeting thus begun in peace, conducted in harmony, and closed in peace. Amen.
Amen.
Mark moved him up close.
He did. Just move him back.
There you go. I'd like to welcome everyone to our Thursday, November 29th, 2012 public business meeting. Gentlemen, are there any additions or deletions to our agenda?
No, sir.
Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the minutes of our November 15th, 2012 public business meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Gentlemen, we're going to jump right into our action agenda. Item number 1, resolution number 12-28. This is the adopt the 2012 amendments to the 2011 Allegany County Water and Sewer Plan. Understand that Mr. DeWitt is here from the Department of Public Works. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Sir?
Thanks for the chance to be here. This one will be short and sweet. I was here 2 weeks ago on November 15th to present to you all, give some background on the amendments to the Water and Sewer Plan. We had a public hearing at that point. Didn't receive any comments during the public hearing. We kept the record open until the end of the day. Tuesday this week, November 27th, received no comments. And at this point, we'd like to request that you'd go ahead and pass the resolution to incorporate those amendments and adopt them into the 2011 plan. And those will be incorporated, made available on the website and where they need to be so people are aware of it. And then we'll start this process again, collecting any necessary amendments and do this again next fall for 2013 amendments. So.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions? I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 12-28.
So move.
Is there a second? See, I messed with you. I'll take that as a second.
Okay.
All right. It's been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Brody. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, item number 2 is the Board of Education of Allegany County Capital Improvement Program fiscal year 2014. This is to approve the Allegany County Board of Education fiscal year 2014 capital improvement program at a request to the state of Maryland and direct staff to amend the Allegany County CIP to include an additional appropriation of $1 million in support of the Allegany High School replacement project. The county's portion of the project will be $9.2 million. Mr. Patterson.
Gentlemen, as you're aware, the Board of Education has submitted their capital improvement plan for upcoming fiscal year 2014 to the Maryland School Construction Program. As part of the process, local government support of the Board of Education CIP is necessary. Local funding requested for fiscal year 2014 projects include Allegany High School replacement at $1 million, Westmar Middle roof at $143,000, and 20 energy efficiency incentive projects at various schools in the county, and that's at $205,000. So the staff report in front of you tonight is twofold. First, it recommends supporting the Board of Education's CIP for 2014. And secondly, it recommends that project funding for Allegany High School replacement be increased to $9.2 million.
Okay. Gentlemen, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Allegany County Board of Education fiscal year 2014 capital improvement plan and direct staff to amend the county's CIP to increase the additional appropriation of $1 million in support of Allegany High School replacement project. The county's portion of that project will be $9.2 million. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion in hopes of moving to discussion with hopes of offering an amendment to that.
Okay, it has been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All, we'll go into discussion.
The amendment I'd like to offer, I think we need to make it clear in this motion that this $9.2 million will be the final sum that the county is willing to borrow for this project. And if this motion is approved, that we would then instruct staff to proceed immediately in looking at the bond market to secure a bond so that we know exactly what the interest rate for this is going to be. My reason for this is, last year we lowered our debt ceiling to $4 million. Right now, the debt owed for the debt service on Board of Education projects is around $1.3 million. The interest rate for the 9.2 loan would be approximately another $600,000. So that would mean that we would be spending just about half of our debt service strictly for the Board of Education. Doesn't allow a whole lot else for the other projects that we definitely are going to have to do. And also by setting this number this early, then the Board of Education has a concrete figure to take to their architects and say, design us the school that we need, but stay within this budget. They'll know what their funding is going to be.
Okay. Okay. Any comments, sir?
Yes, sir, I surely do, because I thought that our ceiling was already set at 8.2, and I'm shocked and surprised when I found out that we was asked for another $1 million by reading it in the paper with no knowledge therefore of. And I'm kind of distressed by this because the project ain't even started and the price of it's already going up. So the only way, and I'm not sure I will even agree to this, which I'm only one of three, is this is it, period. No more. Because when I've seen what we've had to do around here to cut back and we pinch and scrape every nickel, and $1 million is just like, well, we'll just get another $1 million from the county. Upset about it? Yeah, very. So that's about all I'm going to say on this issue right now.
Dave, what is the total local dollar amount are we at right now? 12.2?
It's $12.2 million, Commissioner. If you consider the $2 million that we've programmed from the Board of Education from previous CIP documents and the addition of $1 million recently as the Board of Ed pledged to demolish the existing Braddock campus.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that brings the total from, it's an additional $3 million to the county's 9.2. So it would be, if you approve this additional $1 million, the local amount would be $12.2 million total.
What was the local dollar amount for, we did build a high school here about 10, 12 years ago, Mountain Ridge.
See, the first graduating class was in 2007, if I'm not mistaken. The county borrowed $10 million to support that project. We also added at one point in time $1 million additional dollars from gaming fund proceeds when our gaming fund was much heavier than it is today to support that project. It is a 1,000-seat school. They are not looking to build a 1,000-seat school for the new Allegany High School. So,
My understanding is that the state, for the 97-7 split, that will be for a 719 student school. Is that correct?
the projected formula that the state is using right now is 719 students. That is in the submittal that the Board of Education has offered for consideration. They would like, however, to construct this school with program consideration to accommodate a proposed enrollment of 867 students.
What is what is the number that the state says that they will pay?
The state
That
will-
97.7 split.
97.
Percent.
I think
I'm sorry.
the state will fund something in the order of 719 to 730. Is that correct, Adam?
Yes.
Somewhere in that
Yeah,
range.
719 is currently approved, and they're asking for 20 additional special ed students. So there's 200 square foot per student, so.
And the difference would be 100% that the local would have to pay.
Of the additional amount.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Commissioners, as I had reported at last Thursday's meeting at the Board of Education, trying to come up where we could split the costs of the demolition. My thought process with that, as you well know, we're going to the bond market to possibly refinance all of our debt. We hope to have a savings of about $1 million. I know that in this tough times, that $1 million savings probably should be spread throughout the county and not just for one person or one project. But, you know, I firmly believe that we need to get this done. We need to be a partner. We need to help them with this. I'm willing to make to accept the amendment to cap it at ours at $9.2 million. I'm also willing to instruct Jason to go get the money ASAP, because I firmly believe that if we do that, we can get these kids into this new school maybe even a year sooner than what had been projected. Any other thoughts,
No, sir, I am support of this project. It's just, it's got to have a cap on it, because, you know, we are also charged with not only paying their bills, but we have 560 miles of road that we have to maintain, which we are very short on funding since the state cut us about $5.4 million in that area. We have public safety, which we have cut to bare bones. So there's other projects we need to address. So that you know, if this passes tonight, this is it.
Yes, and the other thing we need to realize is, you know, last year we lowered our debt affordability ceiling from $5 million down to $4 million, with the hopes and the knowledge that we're almost going to have to lower that to $3 million within the next year and a half. And like I just said, we're going to have $2 million worth of debt service for the Board of Education. So we cannot possibly go one dime more as far as what we borrow for this project, or no other entity in this county is going to be able to borrow to do what has to be done.
I guess, Dave, if there is a gap of what they want to borrow, what they want to build, and there's a shortfall of dollars, our action tonight doesn't preclude them to put in more money into this project.
If they have it.
I mean, if they have it, they can, I mean, it's obviously about priorities and setting priorities. I mean, you know, Creed is correct. County government's a little bit like a stool, has 3 legs: education, public safety, and roads. And without one of them, that stool falls.
Well, I think the amended proposal allows both the county and the Board of Education to achieve our goals. Our goal was to keep debt to the county as low as possible and have funding to do other projects, as well as to get a school for the students in that school district. The Board of Education's goal is to get a school that is affordable, and so this is the amount of money that we can afford to put towards this project.
Okay. We need to get this right. So will you restate what your amendment is?
Well, the amendment would be that the 9.2 would be the final amount that the county would be willing to borrow towards this project, and also that if the motion passes, that we instruct staff to move immediately with the bond market so we can secure it at today's interest, which then we know what we're going to be paying yearly on this loan.
Okay. I made the motion, so I accept making that amendment.
Right.
You seconded it.
I second.
Do you accept that?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Are we clear?
You're good.
Okay. He does speak. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Any other discussion? We'll call for a roll call vote. Commissioner Valentine,
Aye.
Commissioner Brody,
Nay.
Commissioner McKay, aye. Motion passes 2-1. All right, gentlemen, moving right down to item number 3 is the Schroeder Industries LLC contract of sale. Some good economic news here. And Mr. Matt Diaz is here to explain.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
If you go back with me until, I think, January of this current year, Gus Schroeder, the president of Schroeder Industries, came to the public meeting and announced at that time that they were expanding at the multi-tenant facility in Mexico Farms on Superfoss Road. That expansion essentially took the entire building. And at the same time, Specs Chemical was moving to our new building, the Burbridge building, which was essentially right around the corner. So we had two pretty positive pieces of economic news at that time to announce. The contract of sale you have in front of you tonight for approval is, since that time, Schroeder Industries has been in conversations with us regarding purchase of that building, and discussions have gone the way of another potential expansion somewhere in the next 12 to 36 months for the company. The last expansion they did when they took the last 12,000 square foot bay at the current facility brought their employment levels to 70 folks. I think their plans going forward will also include additional employment once they purchase the building and can do the expansion on their own, on their timeline, at their expense. So I would ask that you bless this contract of sales tonight. It includes a 30-day due diligence period in which the company will essentially do all its homework and come back to us, and hopefully want to set a closing date in the next month that we can convey the property to them to allow them to do an additional expansion. I have been in contact with the company, and my hope is that everything goes through. And at that point, I'd like to ask Mr. Schroeder, the president of Schroeder Industries, to come back in and brief the commissioners on the company's plans.
Okay. When they expanded before, Matt, how many jobs was that?
It took them to 70 jobs. It escapes me right now what they were previously. They were somewhere around 60, I believe, so the
Okay, so
last
it's an extra
expansion
10.
allowed them. And they were part of the economic downturn as well. Even the expansion before this last one, within the last 12 months, occurred in 2008, and that kind of leveled out. They didn't jump up as high as quickly as they thought they would because production really dropped off. Schroeder is a specialized filter manufacturer, so as construction and everything else slowed down, their process also slowed down. But they've had a 2008 expansion, a 2012 expansion, and hopefully one here in the next 1 to 3 years that will each time bring additional employment.
So they're planning that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And just, it doesn't have to do with this, but, you know, we sold the Care First building, and how many jobs did they talk about that expanding out there?
Care First, at the time, essentially that drove their need for expansion. The building that they left was a 20,000 square foot facility. They doubled their square footage with the new building. Their immediate plans were to go from somewhere in the neighborhood of 170 employees to hopefully up around 225 to 240 in this first wave of expansion.
Okay.
Our last business retention visit, I can't remember, I think either Commissioner McKay or Commissioner
I was on that.
Valentine went on that. I think they were just about at the 200 number as they're ramping up. So, yeah, that was...
Well, here recently, we sold another building here to Chessie.
That's correct.
And they had talked about an expansion. I believe that was about 120 jobs that they're looking to of expanding.
That's correct. And the beauty of that project is Chessie, as you know, who was located in downtown Cumberland, will still keep that downtown Cumberland location, expand into our building, and Care First built a new building. So essentially we had 2 buildings, now we have 3 that are on the tax rolls for.
So it's on the tax rolls. We've added 120 out of, or possibly going to 120. What I'm trying to do is just lay the groundwork, Commissioners. Here we are, contract of sale, helping a business obtain their goals so that they will eventually hire more people.
And plus the
Absolutely.
building gets on the tax rolls.
That's exactly
the big thing.
correct. So,
And if you would indulge me just for a minute, just to kind of pick up on the last item we talked about, the money that we make from the proceeds of sales on these buildings, of course, then from an economic development perspective, as we look forward into doing new buildings, extending fiber to different areas of the county, that is stuff that enables us to not have to put the county into further debt or expand the county's debt ceiling. We've become to the point, essentially with our revolving building fund, that we've been able to finance our projects individually. So,
well, I think that there again, Commissioners, by selling this property, getting it onto the tax rolls, taking the money then, putting it into infrastructure, that just breeds an environment that businesses want to do business in Allegany County, and they will have job creation on their own. So, excellent.
Definitely a win-win.
Excellent. Gentlemen, I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept this contract of sale with Schroeder Industries.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay. Item number 4A, gentlemen, is the advertised legislation day. This is an introduction of Code Home Rule Bill 9-12, the General Obligation Refunding Bond Authorization of 2012 private sale. Mr. Bennett, would you explain, please?
Sure will. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I'm going to kind of cover 4A and 4B, sort of all in one package.
Okay.
Two deals, both of them relating to refinancing. As you know, we discussed on our October 25th work session the idea of refinancing our debt, the lion's share of our debt, to take advantage of the favorable interest rates that we have today. So what you have in front of you today are two bond bills that would essentially start that process. So today is simply the introduction of the bond bills. We'll have a hearing next week, and then you'll have the chance to vote on it the week after, and then it would become effective in February. But essentially what we're going to do is the first one, 9-12, would be a $3.1 million bond bill. That would be to refinance our PPG FEMA debt. Back in 2007, we borrowed money to renovate the PPG building for FEMA, which has turned out really well. We have about $3 million left to repay now. We can refinance that from 5.73% down to, as of today, about 2.15%.
Wow.
It's about $120,000 savings. So that's the first piece. It's taxable. It's a little different than most things we do because it's not a typical government purpose, so it's a different type of bond. So that's why we have two bond bills. Second one, 10-12, is the bigger one. That would be for most of our general obligation debt. We're talking about the 2001 bond issue, 2004, 2006, 1992 FHA loan for Westernport, and the two high school loans for Mountain Ridge. That bond bill's $13.5 million. We're estimating, well, first of all, interest rates on those debts range from 3.5% to 5.75%. As of today, we think we're going to be around 2% when we go to the market. So huge savings, about $1.2 million, most of which we'll see in the first couple of years. It's important to point out we're not going to extend terms on any of this debt. So the idea is not to stretch it. It's going to stay the same repayment terms we had, simply save money along the way. We still have a lot of work to do. This is the first step. Right now we're working on what's called a preliminary official statement to kind of, that's what we put out there on the market. That's how they can rate us. So we have to do that. We're going to have to go to New York and meet with the rating agencies to kind of sell Allegany County, if you would. So that's a step. Then there's a few more things we'll have to do. It's probably going to be March, mid-March, before we're able to do this, but this is one we have to do. Big savings for us, and as we discussed earlier, it sounds like we have a real need for it, so.
Because you said this is not our normal, when was the last time the county did something like this back?
2001,
Okay.
actually. And that's one of the bonds we'll be dealing with. That was the last time we did any kind of refinancing, last time we met with rating agencies. Now, we've been rated in between, but that's the last time we've formally met with them. So, as Sam Ketterman mentioned, when he was here, he felt that was, very important in the process. Be face-to-face with them, sell ourselves a little bit, so.
What was our last rating? Were we upgraded, stayed
We
the
were-
same?
Yeah, we were recently upgraded. With Moody's, we're right now A1, and with Standard & Poor's, we're A. Now, we don't know whether we'll see a rating change through this or not. You certainly hope to at least solidify your rating. Maybe you go up, maybe you don't. But this is kind of a necessary evil that we need to do along the way, so.
Well, I think that speaks to past commissioners and past finance directors that have kept us on a very straight and narrow conservative perspective and not put the county in any kind of a fiscal trick bag. So I think that's important. Okay. Any questions for Jason? Anything else?
Just on a related note to your discussions earlier tonight about the new Allegany, we'll go talk to bond counsel as soon as tomorrow to kind of get the process started. May take a little bit of time just to get the ball rolling, but we'll certainly start it ASAP.
Well, the funding is there until the shovels have to be in 2015, I think. And the idea that as this thing progressed, it wouldn't be until 15 getting in. If we can go there, get the money ASAP, and we can move it up a year, I think that's going to help things. So I think that would be wonderful. So as soon as you can do that, that would be great.
Sure.
All right, gentlemen, we will first do item 4A. I'd like to entertain a motion for the introduction of Code Home Rule Bill number 9-12.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Valentine, seconded by Commissioner Brody. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I would like to make a motion.
I got it that time. I was paying, looking.
Item number 4B, gentlemen, introduction of Code Home Rule Bill number 10-12. Is there a second?
I will second it since we already spent the savings from this, so we better pass this.
It has been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Commissioners, item number 5 is a federal assistance request emergency watershed project, USDA, Natural Resource Conservation Service. Mr. Patterson, what is this all about?
This is about Hurricane Sandy. So
Aha.
I had an opportunity to meet with NRCS staff, and I had learned that we are eligible to pursue emergency watershed protection funds. To date, I have estimated approximately $200,000 worth of repair work. So the staff report in front of you this evening is a recommendation that the county make application for these funds. These funds, if approved, are a 75-25 split, 75% grant from NRCS and 25% local match. Local match can be cash or in-kind services.
Okay. Any questions, Commissioners?
No, sir.
I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve the Allegheny County's application for the federal assistance through the Emergency Watershed Protection Program up to $250,000 and authorize the president to sign the necessary documents.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Item number 6, Allegheny County Board of Education fiscal year 2013 budget amendment. Commissioners, we have Mr. Randy Bittinger, the CPA and Chief Business Officer. Randy, good evening.
Thank you, Commissioners. As you know, you set our budget in total, and you set the budget categories. So anytime that the board wishes to change its budget total or change any of the categories, it must first seek your approval, and that's why we're here tonight. What we're looking to do is reduce the category called Other Instructional Costs by $50,000 and increase textbooks and supplies by $50,000, so there'd be no impact on the classroom. The reason we're asking for this is each year the school system budgets $50,000 for non-technology instructional equipment. We go out, solicit requests from our principals, and meet with the chief academic officer on this. This year, the chief academic officer would like to redirect those funds for what's called STEM kits, and STEM is an acronym for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and there's been a renewed emphasis on that at the federal and state levels. So the chief academic officer believes this is an opportunity to support those initiatives, and that this year these funds would be better spent as supplies and materials rather than equipment. We feel like we've been able to address some equipment needs, and if there are some things that come up, we can address them. So this is just changing one budget category for the next. It does not impact your current appropriation or any other future appropriation. So we submit this for your approval. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Certainly. Gentlemen, I'd like to make the motion that we amend the fiscal year 2013 budget for the Board of Education to transfer the $50,000 to the textbooks and instructional supplies. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, item number 7, District 16 Fire Department Emergency Medical Services Driver MOU. Good evening, Mr. DeVore. How are you, sir?
Good evening, sir. Commissioners.
Sir.
What you have before you tonight is consideration for a modification of the host agreement with District 16 Fire Department. We have host agreements with every volunteer organization in which we put paid county staff into doing daytime hours. This department has indicated that they may like to expand on the concept of paid personnel in their stations under the arrangement in which the county would hire these individuals to work in those stations as EMTs, and the department themselves then would reimburse the county in full for all employee cost. So it basically provides career management within our program, and the department is picking the cost up for these individuals.
Richard, real quick, enlighten us with respect to the other resources that we have dispersed throughout the county, and we have similar agreements with several other organizations. What's the total number of staff we currently have dispatched that assist our volunteers today?
We currently have 7 paramedics that are out working in the field right now, and that's complemented with 6 part-time EMT drivers.
Okay.
And how many people are we talking about?
Right now, initially, they're looking at bringing on 2 people, and these 2 part-time EMT drivers they would add on would fill the void on the days that we are not in their
Right.
stations.
Okay. And this is just working towards Dr. Accords with the SWAT and
Yes, sir.
trying to get up there as
Yep. Trying to-
fiscally as we can.
Yep,
The
trying to make
need is
sure.
there.
Trying to make sure we're getting ambulances on the road in a timely fashion.
Okay. All right. Commissioners, any questions?
Nope.
Entertain a motion to authorize the Board of Commissioners to approve and sign the memorandum of an understanding for hosting emergency medical providers with District 16 Volunteer Fire Department.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Valentine, seconded by Commissioner McKay. I'm sorry, Commissioner Brody. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Just wants to take credit for everything.
I thought maybe he was just going to answer for me.
Anyhow, item number 4. Commissioners, this is the Maryland Fire and Rescue Collapse Training Site MOU. Mr. DeVore.
Yes, sir. Commissioners, you are aware, we're very fortunate that one of the specialized technical rescue teams that we have available in the county is a structural collapse response team. And this team, made up entirely of volunteers, is part of that same team that responds to hazardous materials incidents, confined space incidents across the county. The training that goes along with this specialized rescue is certainly very intense and requires specialized equipment to be able to accomplish. We began this process about 2 years ago, discussing with the University of Maryland that, in fact, since I believe the county ultimately donated to property that now holds the Western Maryland Regional Training Center in Cresaptown, we explored the possibility of building a collapse training site on that location. And of course, the University of Maryland was in agreement with this. And this training site will be a site that our team can train regularly on, as well as volunteers and career fire personnel across the state of Maryland.
This will be instead of doing the training at the Valley Road Fire Department during their Christmas party, I think.
You see, no, that is unfair for you to bring that up, Commissioner. Now, just because I happen to be sitting at the table and they had just served the food and then the floor cracked and they had to find the team to come shore up and I happen to be sitting right above it, does not implement me whatsoever in this.
Well, I saw whenever they were jacking the beam up, your chair was going up with it, so.
Oh, my gosh. But I was actually there, so
Yeah. See, food police put it up to him again. I see how that is. Hey, Dick, us full-figure guys got to stick together now.
Absolutely, sir.
But, on the positive side of this, Richard, we actually did get to see this crew in action, and all three of us did get to go down and watch them take care of that situation, and I was utmost impressed.
Yeah, they did a wonderful, seriously. It was, I don't mind being the butt of the jokes when it comes to this.
It was very well staged.
I was there also, so now I'm included in the full figure. I think I contributed to the problem.
All right, Commissioners, entertain a motion to authorize the county commissioners to approve and sign this memorandum of understanding.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You are an older, seasoned gentleman, but you don't forget anything.
No.
Mr. Eberly, what do we have on our consent agenda this evening, sir?
Commissioners, 3 items, 2 of which relate to grants that are related to emergency services and public safety. And there is a board appointment, actually an appointment relative to the chair of a given board that you're obligated to appoint by county code.
Okay. Gentlemen, would like to entertain a motion to accept our consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Valentine, seconded by Commissioner Brody. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I was reading.
All right. Mr. Eberly.
Nothing to report, sir.
Wonderful. Mr. Rudd, do you have anything to say, sir?
No.
Thank you,
After
sir.
that show, I have nothing.
Nothing at all?
All right. Commissioners, Commissioner Brody, anything you'd like to share with us?
Well, I'll do a kind of a quick rundown of the calendar because I've spoke about enough tonight. So, and this cough I just can't seem to get rid of. So we'll start with Friday the 16th, the Chamber of Commerce past President's meeting. Saturday the 17th, the Allegany Christmas Parade, which we were judges at. Tuesday, November 20th, Marcellus Shale Safe Drilling Initiative Advisory Commission Conference Call, which I'm sure Bill enjoyed immensely. Wednesday, the 21st, Chamber of Commerce Economic Development Meeting. Saturday, November 24th, Midland Fire Department fundraiser. Monday, the 26th, Town of Luke meeting. Tuesday, the 27th, Mental Health Advisory Board meetings. And the 28th, last night, here in room 212, Highlands Estates Sewer Rehabilitation Project. Thanks Dan DeWitt for that, because he did a fantastic job.
Yes, he did.
Tri-County Council of Western Maryland Economic Development Committee meeting. And today, the County Commissioners' Public Business meeting, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you. Commissioner Valentine?
Going back to that conference call, I'm on the committee, so it's my job to be there. Jackie was on that call. I don't know if you stayed for the entire hour and a half, but Jackie's got enough interest that she was there on that call, too.
Kudos to Jackie.
Well, it takes a lot of community commitment for something like this. Our next public meeting is actually tomorrow morning from 10 o'clock in the morning till probably 1 or a little bit after 1 in the afternoon. It'll be at the Volunteer Fire Department on Finsel Road. Sort of interesting, the governor just announced he's putting another push on for placement of wind generators in the Chesapeake Bay, which is going to be a real fight again. But some of the Democratic leaders in the Senate and the House now are starting to push for development of natural gas in the state of Maryland. They're seeing that it's happening all across the country. They're seeing the benefits from the natural gas. Anybody that's used natural gas to heat their homes this year, you're going to see lower bills again, because all of a sudden the United States has got a glut of natural gas. It's all due to the Marcellus shale gas that's being extracted. Has to be done safely. We're looking at all avenues to do this. Quite frankly, it's been out there for years. Several states have been pumping Marcellus gas for a long time, and none of them's disappeared off the map. I have not heard of one person dying from people drilling Marcellus shale. So hopefully this is something we move forward on, and I don't think before too terribly long.
Right. Just as I read that article too, that was a senator who represents Baltimore City.
Right.
Baltimore City. So we've got some urban people that are looking at the issues in the rural, so that's good. Okay. Ms. Linda, do we have anybody sign up? No? Okay, thank you. I'd like to remind everyone of our next public business meeting. That's going to be on December the 13th, 2012 at 5 o'clock in room 100. Our next public work session will be December 13th, 2012 at 3 o'clock in room 212. I'd like to make an announcement that the Allegany County Animal Control Advisory Board meeting will be meeting Tuesday, December the 4th at 6 o'clock in this room, room 100. I'd like to make the announcement that the Salary Study Commission meeting will be Wednesday, December the 5th at 3:30, 701 Kelly Road. That's up at room 408. Make the announcement that the Western Maryland delegation meeting, public meeting with the commissioners, is going to be Thursday, December the 6th, 2012 at 3 o'clock. The sheriff will be there as well, correct?
He will be.
Okay. And to announce the US 40 alternate Lower LaVale bicycle feasibility study will be Monday, December the 10th, 2012 at 7 o'clock at the LaVale Volunteer Fire Hall, Station Number 1. And if you recall, due to Sandy, we ended up moving that. So we're just not having a do-over meeting. So anything else, commissioners?
That's it, sir.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for participating in your government, and I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you.